Hello again, it's Gail here from Ornamentology, talking to you about random objects that find their way into my home and my world. When you start collecting the odd and the obscure, it seems to open up some strange portal that means that when people find odd stuff, they go, hey up, I've seen this, is this of interest to you? And it's kind of like it's like I've got a tractor beam for the odd, and I quite like that because, you know, lots of these things just end up just, I don't know really, just going to the landfill and stuff like that, and it seems like a shocking thing. I don't have the largest house in the world, and it's not ram-jammed. I really am not one of those hoarders next door. It feels like it sometimes, but it isn't. This is just it's kind of like the collection of oddness. And I thought I'd talk to you today about this little thing. Now, this little thing, oops, there's two things, but I'm going to talk to you about this. This little thing, look, it's got a really strange nose. I've added the bow because I could, but it's this wicker hat stand. And my nephew, who actually must be something in the genes, you know, my dad collected random weirdness. My son doesn't. But my nephew, now he collects some very random stuff, and he saw this, and it was one of those, hey up Auntie Gail, I've seen this and got you it for Christmas. I've got you some at random for Christmas. Excellent, wonderful, great, bring it on. And this is what he got me, and it's beautifully made. I mean, look at it, it's absolutely sensational, and it's quite old. I mean, I don't know actually how old it is, because, you know, I'm not a auctioneer and valuer, but it's quite lovely, and it sits in my house in a little corner somewhere, and upon it, just because it's the most unlikely thing to put on it, are these welding goggles. I mean, look at them, they've still got the muck in them, for God's sake. These welding goggles, they're quite old. I mean, look at them, they're absolutely at it, but they're just interesting. And so this is where you obviously unscrew it and change the lens. I don't know anything about welding, nothing at all, but you know, they're quite old and they're beautifully made, and they're sort of like this composite stuff that I think was around, I want to say it's mylar, sort of like lino-y kind of stuff. I don't actually know what it is. I'd be interested if anybody knows, let me know. But I put them on this because, let me get them on right because it's a bit on squeak whiffy. I put them on this because they're the most unlikely things to go together. You know, you'd never put welding goggles on something so industrial, on something so gentle. I mean, I would imagine that this was probably in a ladies' costumier shop or even a miller's shop where they had very beautiful and flamboyant hats on. And so they certainly wouldn't have welding goggles on, would they? But I quite like this whole kind of juxtaposition of weirdness. Do you think this might be the time to fess up to the fact that I did a fine art degree? I took a bit of time out from looking after people and decided I'd indulge myself a bit, and I did a fine art degree, and my fine art degree was about the discarded object. Who knew? And I did all sorts of random things about that and landfill and the like. Talk about that another time perhaps. But so I had this assemblage of things, and my fine art degree show was about the discarded found object, and I did embossments of things, which is quite interesting. And the university bought some. Nobody was more shocked than me. But yeah, so I have an obsession almost. Well, not an obsession, that's a big word, isn't it? I have a curiosity about things from the past and what they were used for, and repurposing them into the world that we live in now, and, you know, giving them another lease of life. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful, it's so nicely made, and, you know, things that we buy now don't last this long, will they? I mean, you know, it'll all have dropped to bits or been thrown out. But yeah, so here it is, this little tiny strange collection of welding goggles. I don't know the date of them. They could be quite modern for all I know. I'm guessing about the 1950s, but it is a guess, and I think this is a similar age, but again, it's a guess. This could be older, I don't know. And the bit of ribbon, well, that's pretty new to be fair, but I just fancied a bit of a ribbon around it because I could, really. But there you go. So if you want more of this general weirdness, let me just whistle that back because it's quite nice to see. I've sat here in my garden, you can hear the wind chime tinkling away, just doing a series of these because getting it all set up is not something I find easy, but I get it set and then off I go. But if you'd like more of these landing in your inbox, I'm going to point in all directions of time. Hit the bell, subscribe thingamajig, and when I put a new one out, it will find its way as if by some magic into your inbox. I plan to do a series of them. I keep finding things of interest in my house. I think, oh, I wonder if they'd be interested in that. There's a few to go, it's fair to say. But yeah, I quite like finding these random things, and you know, if somebody comes along and they like it more than I do, or I feel I've consumed it sufficiently, I hand it on to someone else, because, you know, that's how we should be. People give me stuff, I give them stuff. It all kind of works, doesn't it? It's all part of the general way that we should be living our lives these days. And, you know, there we are. So anyway, I won't waffle on anymore. I've taken up enough of your most precious commodity, your time. If you'd like more stuff, ping the bell. If you've got any information that you can share about these objects that will shed a bit more light on them, please do share, because, you know, we're all in it together separately, aren't we? And it's been an absolute delight talking to you about my random stuff. Thank you very much for your most precious commodity, your time, and I'll catch you on another one. Bye now.